So warm welcome on behalf of the Himalayan Club for, I would say, one of the top talks for us for the year. This is the mountain Nanda Devi. When you just hear of it, it pulls people towards it. And I would say that this talk is really epic in many ways. Um, as I was seeing the photographs which Anindya is going to show, um, I was just imagining standing at Longstaff Call. It's a point where you at least get to peep into the Nanda Devi sanctuary. For a generation of climbers like us, we're not able to go in, so you can only peep in. That's the only option available. But just imagine standing there with the main peak and the Nanda Devi East to your right, and just if you turn around, you see Nanda Court. There's a lot of. I spoke to my father, Captain Kohli, before I came. I was chatting with him about that particular area. So he said, in 1959 he did the first ascent of Nanda Court. In 1964 they had sent in a pre-Everest expedition to Nanda Devi East, met with a massive avalanche. That area is known for avalanches. I think that will come up in the talk. And that resulted in a 3,000 foot fall for the members, 6 of them. One of the Sherpas was majorly injured, his leg broken in 3 places. And he says that he did an overnight run to Milam village over the Pachu ridge into the Pachu valley and reached Milam, and 2 helicopters came and that Sherpa survived. He was in hospital for 9 months. So there's a lot of amazing history background to that whole place, and I'm really happy that Anindya has come all the way from Calcutta to be with us. He's really one of the climbers who really researches their topic, so he goes into depths into the history and the background, and that's the very few speakers who today take that kind of effort, so I'm really nice to see him here with us. A little bit about his background. This is nearly his 25th year being in the Himalaya. He's been on 50 expeditions in the Indian Himalaya, and he's been everywhere. So if you look at the whole scope of things he's been doing, he's been very, very active. He's also done a lot of international trips, about 25 of them. So one of the most interesting one he was telling me, which I found little interesting, was he was the first person to cycle across the Sahara Desert. So, he keeps doing something. First Indian, first Indian to cycle across the Sahara Desert. Quite interesting. So, we are happy to hear from him. And this year, Nanda Devi has been in the news massively because of Martin Moran especially. So, in a way, the other thought of doing this particular talk was to just kind of remember him as well. Because he was a real genuine lover of India. He loved the Nanda Devi region. He used to come here frequently. So idea was to just catch up with Nanda Devi this year. And Anindya is, I think, the best person for us to listen into. Thank you.
Very good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you, Maninder, for inviting me, and what a great audience today. I feel very lucky and privileged indeed to be able to present my talk in front of such a august gathering. I could not have expected a better audience than this tonight. Without wasting much more time, I will just start today's talk. On May 13 this year, an 8-member team, including 4 Britons, 2 Americans and 1 Australian, and 1 liaison officer from the Indian Mountaineering Foundation, had left Munshari with a declared intention to climb Nanda Devi East. It is important at the very outset of this discussion to clarify one thing, that this was not a team of experienced, seasoned, professional mountaineers. It was a commercially guided expedition comprising of paying clients with different climbing abilities and levels in terms of experience and skill. For the last few weeks of June and early July, the media posted regular updates about the recovery mission of these 8 unfortunate climbers who perished supposedly en masse during their stated expedition to Nanda Devi East. Nearly all the reports had labeled it as Nanda Devi expedition, which in fact it never was. It also needs to be clarified that the accident did not occur on Nanda Devi East either. In fact, we can now presume with some certainty that their attempt on Nanda Devi East was possibly aborted. How? Let me explain. When this sad, heartbreaking incident happened, their rope fixing and route opening team, comprising of one mountain guide from UK and two Sherpas from Darjeeling, whom I personally know, had barely made it up to Camp 2 just beyond Longstaff Col. They were already running out of time as the next team from Poland was on its way, and I was with that Polish team. We were just 2 days away from reaching the base camp of Martin Moran. And Martin Moran's clients had not gone up beyond Longstaff Col even at that time. So with taking these 3 factors into consideration, we can presume there was enough reason to abort the project. So the choice of the alternative peak 6477, the unnamed unclimbed peak, we again presume would have been a good and a possible climbable consolation takeaway for the high-paying clients. The legality of the alternative was never in doubt, since the liaison officer with the team is authorized to sanction it, and it can be officially ratified post facto on return. The reportage climaxed with the discovery of a video clip from a GoPro camera of one of the climbers who died. Here is a screenshot of that video clip. The facts that can be observed from this particular published video clip are as follows. That the journey started before sunrise, so probably around 4:30 to 500 hours, 5 in the morning. And then the video jump cuts, so it was not one video, it must have been edited. Jump cuts into a broad daylight. Then third fact, considering the size of the shadows cast by the climbers, as you can see here, it would have been around 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. And the visible, appreciable climbers, those who we can see clearly, were carrying fully loaded rucksacks. Media said they were going for the summit attempt. So it was clearly they were not going for summit, they were going for a higher camp. And the next point is the 7th climber in the row, who is probably the liaison officer, because we can identify from the rucksack color, which is generally issued to the liaison officers from the IMF store, is carrying a shovel, mattresses. So these all proves that they were actually planning to camp, making a higher camp, maybe going for the summit the very next morning. And the next point is the snow condition we can see in this video were appalling snow condition. There was immense balling up happening under the crampons. And they were probably on 2 ropes, 4 on each, but all of them were dangerously close together. And all the climbers are treading the same line, one behind the other, and thus possibly creating a fault line on either a cornice or an unstable snow slope, creating a slab avalanche. The latter has probably happened.